From the moment the world learned of their relationship, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez have commanded attention, not just for their wealth or fame, but for the undeniable chemistry and transformation they've undergone since going public. What began as a scandalous headline in 2019 during Jeff's high-profile divorce from Mackenzie Scott has since evolved into a surprisingly enduring and carefully crafted love story. 4 years later, that story now reaches its climax in one of the world's most romantic cities, Venice, Italy, with what insiders are calling the most extravagant wedding of the decade. But how did we get here? Jeff Bezos, once the shy tech visionary behind Amazon, has experienced a personal metamorphosis few billionaires undergo publicly. For most of his early career, he was known for being obsessively frugal, famously working from a desk made of a wooden door and driving an old Honda Accord long after he'd become a millionaire. He rarely stepped into the spotlight for anything other than business. That began to shift when he launched Blue Origin and started to position himself not just as a businessman, but as a futurist. Then came Lauren. Lauren Sanchez wasn't just any woman. A former news anchor, helicopter pilot, producer, entrepreneur, and mother of three, she had already made a name for herself in the media world before ever meeting Bezos. Her charisma, independence, and on-camera confidence made her more than just a glamorous companion. She wasn't tagging along for the ride. She was building a new brand alongside him. And from the moment their relationship went public, everything about Bezos changed. In 2019, the two became the center of a media firestorm when Bezos' phone was reportedly hacked and text messages between him and Sanchez were leaked. At the time, he was still married to Mackenzie, and the affair sparked tabloid headlines around the globe. But instead of retreating, Bezos and Sanchez leaned into their relationship. They appeared hand in hand at events, vacations, and fundraisers. Lauren became a fixture beside Jeff on red carpets, in business meetings, and aboard private jets. And slowly but surely, they rebranded themselves, not just as a couple, but as a unit of wealth, influence, and aspiration. In May 2023, aboard Jeff's $500 million super yacht Koru, a moment long anticipated finally arrived. Bezos proposed. The engagement ring, reportedly worth over $2.5 million, sparkled against the Mediterranean sun. And soon after, media outlets began speculating about what kind of wedding a couple like this might plan. Would it be on the ocean, in a private island ceremony, or something more cinematic? As it turns out, the answer was all of the above, and then some. Planning a wedding on this scale required months of logistical precision, secrecy, and influence. It wasn't just about venues and guest lists, it was about symbolism. Venice wasn't chosen at random. It's a city with centuries of history, floating atop water, where drama meets elegance and every alleyway hides a story. For Bezos and Sanchez, Venice represents more than beauty. It represents timelessness. And for a couple seeking to cement their narrative as one of reinvention and lasting love, no backdrop could be more perfect. But behind the photos of romantic gondola rides and sun-drenched canals lies a strategic move. Sources close to the couple suggest they wanted their wedding to be remembered not just as a party, but as a cultural moment, something that people would reference, compare, and study much, like royal weddings or Hollywood's golden era affairs. And so, the groundwork began. Lauren, already a style icon in her own right, began working with top designers and stylists. Rumors swirled that Anna Wintour herself was involved in helping craft the visual aesthetic of the event. This wasn't just a wedding. It was a fashion statement, a brand refresh, and a declaration of power. Everything, from the catering to the lighting, was curated with surgical precision. This wasn't just about love. It was about legacy. As the date inched closer, more details leaked. The wedding would span 3 days. Guests would be arriving by sea, many via Bezos' own fleet of luxury vessels. The ceremony itself was set to take place at the Scuola Grande di San Rocco, one of Venice's most opulent and historic venues. The after-party? On a private beach island in the Venetian lagoon, surrounded by floating candle lanterns, imported orchids, and security tighter than a presidential summit. But despite the over-the-top opulence, those who know the couple say, the emotional stakes are real. Jeff Bezos, now in his 60s, has spoken more openly than ever about legacy, love, and the importance of family. he has slowly handed over executive power at Amazon, turned his focus to space exploration, and dedicated more time to his children. Lauren, too, has talked about the relationship as transformative, not just personally, but professionally. The two are reportedly working on multiple philanthropic and media ventures together, including a documentary series focused on female aviators, inspired by Lauren's own piloting experience. Together, they have become more than a couple. They are a brand. A postmodern version of old-school power marriages, where influence is shared, amplified, and projected onto the global stage. Their wedding, then, is not just a culmination of their love story, it's a cultural event, a celebration of transformation, from scandal to sophistication, from headlines to heritage. And as we begin to explore the wedding in more detail, the guests, the controversies, the scale, and the spectacle, it's important to remember that beneath the surface of yachts and couture is something far more intimate. Two people who, despite the noise, have chosen each other. And in a world where celebrity unions often feel fleeting, that alone makes this story worth telling. Venice, the city of canals, of Casanova, of masquerade balls and gilded palaces. A place where water kisses marble and history whispers from every stone. For centuries, it has seduced artists, poets, lovers, and kings. And now, in 2025, it would become the setting for something equally dramatic. The wedding of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez, a billionaire's fantasy turned real, planned down to the last candlelit ripple on the Grand Canal. The decision to wed in Venice wasn't impulsive. It was strategic, emotional, and deeply symbolic. Friends close to the couple said Lauren had always dreamed of an Italian wedding, something rich in romance and theatrical beauty, while Jeff, ever the visionary, was enchanted by the city's timelessness, its otherworldly blend of nature and architecture. Venice is both elegant and fragile, historical yet alive. In many ways, it mirrors the couple's journey, built on ancient foundations, disrupted by scandal, and now magnificently restored. But Venice is not just a postcard, it's a logistical puzzle. Hosting a 3-day celebrity wedding there required months of advanced coordination, particularly since the city is known for strict limitations on large events due to its delicate ecosystem. Even so, Bezos and Sánchez had the means and the will to turn a floating city into their private stage. According to insiders, the planning began in late 2024, involving a mix of Hollywood event producers, Italian cultural liaisons, stylists from Milan, and even local historians brought in to advise on maintaining the integrity of certain sites. Central to the wedding was the venue itself, the Scuola Grande di San Rocco. Built in the 16th century, this Renaissance masterpiece isn't just an architectural jewel, it's a sanctuary of art. Its walls and ceilings are adorned with some of Tintoretto's most breathtaking frescoes, giving the interior an almost sacred energy. For a couple obsessed with legacy and immortality, saying "I do" beneath scenes of biblical grandeur wasn't just romantic, it was poetic. It gave the wedding the feel of a coronation. But this was no intimate ceremony. Guests would not simply walk in from a parking lot or valet. They would arrive by yacht, including Bezos' infamous $500 million sailing yacht, Koru, which had been anchored nearby for days. Koru, a Maori word meaning new beginnings, was itself a floating symbol of the couple's journey. Measuring 417 feet, with 3 massive masts, a helicopter landing pad, and its own shadow support vessel, Koru was not only a transportation hub, but an extension of the wedding's visual narrative. From the moment invitations went out, it was clear this would be no casual affair. Hand-delivered in velvet boxes with gilded lettering, each invite was paired with a personalized itinerary, arrival by sea, private security details, and custom fittings for those who requested bespoke attire through the event's stylists. The guest list, a who's who of global power. Celebrities, business moguls, political dignitaries, and royalty were all rumored to be in attendance. Names like Kim Kardashian, Leonardo DiCaprio, Barack and Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Rihanna, Elon Musk, and even European aristocrats were floated among industry insiders. Over 300 guests were expected, each hosted at one of Venice's most exclusive properties, including the Aman Venice, the Gritty Palace, and the Belmont Hotel Cipriani. Some guests arrived days in advance, enjoying pre-wedding cocktail soirees, masked galas, and even a small film screening curated by Lauren herself. The total cost? Industry experts estimated the entire affair would land somewhere between $9.5 million and $11 million, making it one of the most expensive celebrity weddings of all time. And if you loved every luxurious detail of this billion-dollar love story, don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to Celeb Scoop 247 for more behind-the-scenes celebrity stories, epic weddings, wild drama, and the kind of Hollywood heat you won't find anywhere else. We've got the gossip, the glamour, and the gold,